back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol and also weed now. I got fucking high last night and it was uncomfortable as fuck. I am not a weed guy. I don't know how the fuck people smoke that every day. That is some serious reality altering shit. You always underestimate weed, don't you? Because you see old cunts smoke it, you see grandmas smoke it, you see like 12-year-olds smoke it, Snoop Dogg's smoking it still. So you're like, yeah, I want to be as cool as Snoop Dogg. Just give me a little toke on that blunt. That sticky icky wicky. Next thing you know, you're in the fucking fetal position. So this is how my weed adventure went down last night. I had it all planned out. I put the kids to sleep. Everyone was in bed. I was up by myself. At about 11:30 p.m., I'm like, I'm going to smoke it now. So I got everything ready. My plan was I'm going to get high and I'm going to watch a movie and just be wowed by it and sit there and giggle or whatever fucking stoners do. So I got the laptop set up and I decided I'm going to watch that movie Dune because it's meant to be fucking trippy or some shit. It looked trippy on the trailer. So I got that all set up. I got the fucking movie. I let it play through a little while so I could turn it back. And it wouldn't need to load because it's pretty slow to load. So I had all that sorted out. The blankets, the pillows, a little bit of water next to the bed. So I go out on the balcony. I have 4 joints in there. And I choose the biggest one. I'm like, I might as well do a good job of it. So I go out there and I spark her up. And I start fucking hitting that sticky icky wicky. And I tell you what, I was enjoying it more for the dart. It was good to get that little bit of dart in there too. So I was smoking it and I was like, I'll just take 3 puffs and then I'll wait a little while to see how high I get. But then after 3 puffs, I got impatient and I was enjoying the dart. So I just wanted to keep on smoking. So I was like, fuck it. It's not like I do this a lot. Just fucking smoke it. So I sat there and I smoked probably 3/4 of it. Then it started getting a little bit harsh. And I'm like, I probably don't need the rest. So I put it out. I'm like, I'll have it another day. And everything was pretty sweet. That whole process was about 10-15 minutes. And I was feeling all right. I wasn't feeling high. There was a little bit of a body buzz. But it wasn't like anything heavy. And I was like, well, this Indian hash is probably not that good. It was actually weed and hash oil. And I think a little bit of hash or something. I don't know. He has a mixture. So I go to the other room where I have the movie set up. And I forget my headphones. So I'm like, I have to go back to the other room to get my headphones. And by the time I got back to the other room, I was fucking high as shit. I was like, oh no. That was my first thought. I was like, oh no. Oh. Oh, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to feel like this. So I'm like, all right, just get the fucking headphones and get to the other room and just start watching the movie. Because I was immediately just in my own head. I was like, oh my God. My thoughts. I tell you what I noticed. Like when you're a comedian, all you do every day, your mind's just going joke, joke, joke. Thinking about jokes, structuring them, punchlines, repeating shit to yourself, looking for new jokes. It's a fucking mental illness. I tell you right now. It's the equivalent of a mental illness. Comedians talk to themselves all the time. It's just a loop of just mental illness jokes. Joke, joke, joke. It's fucked. So I noticed as soon as I got high, I now structure and frame all my thinking into a podcast. And that's another mental illness. So I'm like shaping a podcast 24/7. So even when I'm uncomfortable as fuck, I'm high, I'm not liking it, I'm like, this is good pod. This is solid pod. Just bouncing from mental illness to mental illness. That's what I'm doing. So anyway, I get my headphones and I go back upstairs to my room and I plug them in and I turn the movie on and I last exactly 1 minute and 38 seconds before I go, this is way too heavy for me. I can't watch this shit. It was like, I don't know, the girl's fucking eyes in it were freaking me out. And the beginning of the movie is like analogous to like colonization of the indigenous people and shit like that. I'm like, this is too fucking heavy. So I stopped it at 1 minute and 38 seconds And I'm like, I need to get something to eat. My mouth is dry as fuck as well. And I've got a chamomile tea. I pre-made that as well. I forgot about that. And it tastes like shit when you've got no saliva in your mouth at all. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about the dries. This water tastes like shit. The chamomile tea tastes like shit. I need to get something to eat. Plus, I can't watch this movie. There's no fucking way. I'll end up in a fucking mental institution or something if I continue watching this. So I'm like, all right, I'll go downstairs. I'll get something to eat. And then maybe by the time I get back upstairs, I'll have the courage to watch another minute of the movie. So I go downstairs and I hunt for something to eat. And because I don't fucking eat lollies or sugar or anything anymore, I have to settle for 2 mandarins and 2 little bananas and some cashews. That was my big munchies feed. 2 fucking mandarins, 2 little bananas, and some fucking dry as fuck cashews. So I get that shit and I go back upstairs. And by the time I get back upstairs, I'm so fucking high, I don't even know what's going on. I'm like, how are people going out like this? This is insane. And this is probably not even strong stuff. I can barely operate. If there was anyone else, if there was a person, if there was any curveballs or anything thrown at me, I would have just collapsed. But I was by myself, thank God, and I didn't have to deal with anything, so I could just be pathetic by myself. So I get back on the bed, and I put the headphones on. I crack open one of the mandarins, and I'm like, fuck, this is a delicious mandarin. So I'm just chewing the fuck out of the mandarin, and I'm actually having a little bit of trouble eating it. Like the pulp was too chewy or something. Like I was high and it was just difficult to chew a mandarin. And then I'm getting depressed and paranoid about that. I'm like, why am I such a loser? I can't even chew a mandarin. And then I'm like, I better save this mandarin because this is good juice for my mouth because my mouth's so fucking dry. So I save a quarter of that first mandarin. Then I rip open a little banana, smash the banana. The banana wasn't that good. That was hard to eat as well. So I was like, banana. And I'm like, I might as well go the other banana because the bananas were nothing. That leaves me 1 1/4 mandarins left. I haven't pressed play on the movie again yet because I'm too scared. But I finished that banana and I start eating the quarter of the mandarin. And the quarter of the mandarin was making me feel good. So I'm like, while I'm eating the mandarin, I'll watch some of the movie. So I pressed play, was watching the movie, eating the mandarin. And I had to stop the movie again at 3 minutes and 24 seconds. I'm like, I cannot watch. I cannot watch this fucking movie. It is too intense for me. I'm like, fucking hell. And then I'm like, I think I need to take my shirt off. It's getting pretty hot in here. What's going on? The fan's on. So I took my shirt off. I'm like, all right, that is okay. All right, I better eat the other mandarin. I'm not feeling very good. This isn't like fun. I couldn't be out in the world doing this. I'm like, all right, just don't worry about that. Just eat your mandarin. So, so I'm eating the mandarin and I finish that mandarin and I fucking end on like 2 pips. The last wedge of mandarin had fucking 2 pips in it and they tasted like poison. Like full on poison. They were disgusting. So I'm like, oh, fuck, now I'm going to have to eat some cashews to wash away that poison taste. So I filled my mouth full of cashews and, oh, they were hard to eat. They pretty much just soaked up every last drop of saliva in my whole entire mouth. And I was like chewing and I couldn't fucking chew properly. So I had to have some water and that tasted disgusting. And there was just cashew all in my mouth sticking to like the inside of my gums and shit. I'm like, this is the worst. What the fuck is going on? But I had to keep eating because that was the only thing making me feel good. So I fucking threw another handful of cashews in my mouth and fucking battled through that for about 20 minutes. And at this stage, the movie's finished. I'm not going back to that fucking movie. No way. So I'm just lying there chewing on cashews, not able to swallow them at all. I'm like, this is really not fun. This is not my fucking cup of tea. I don't like getting high like this. And the mind's just racing and I've got this queasy sort of fucking feeling. So I close my eyes. And when I closed my eyes, I fucking might as well have been on acid or DMT or something like that. My fucking mind was a carnival. Like fractals, I was going deep into my mind. I was playing around with it. I was creating shapes. It was fucking crazy. I fucking love that. It honestly was like I was on hallucinogens. It was fucking intense. But I love that sort of shit. So once I got into that little world, I was just having fun. I was just fucking around with my mind, going in deep, looking in the hidden crevices and shit like that, creating shapes out of those like energy, that blue energy shit. I don't know what it is. So I had a ball doing that. I'm pretty comfortable with hallucinations, strong, vivid hallucinations. I'm not good with the paranoia, schizophrenic type vibe, probably because schizophrenia is in my family genes fucking everywhere. So that's what I did. I fucking turned my back to the movie, closed my eyes, and just fucked around in my own mind for quite a while. Maybe an hour, hour and a half, and then I just sort of like fell asleep. And then I had some fucking vivid, crazy dreams. They were fucking so good. I had a deep fucking sleep and I woke up and I was feeling good. There was no hangover. There was no anything. That's what makes it better than boozing, really. But if you're smoking that shit every day, please do not delude yourself. You're doing some pretty hardcore drugs. If you're someone that smokes every day, take a month or 6 weeks off and then try and smoke as much as you did before you stopped. There's no way you're going to be able to do it. That's how strong it is. You've just built up some fucking crazy tolerance because you do it every fucking day. If I had one bong, I'd be dead. I would die on the spot. No one would be able to resuscitate me. I'd go straight into my mind and commit suicide in my mind. I'm like, I can't deal with this shit. Having said that, I have been thinking about smoking weed again tonight. All day, I've been thinking it. That's where I'm at. I wouldn't mind getting high as fuck again tonight. I'm not going to, just because I don't want to become a fucking pothead, addict, fucking whatever. I don't need to be making getting high a habit because I can see what will happen. If I get high for a week every day, that uncomfortable feeling will go away and just that nice stone feeling will stay. And then I'll be like, fuck it, I'll just have a fucking joint now. And then the next thing I'll be hitting bongs. And then the next thing you know, I'll be eating pumpkin again and turning yellow again. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to leave the weed. It was fun. I'll probably do one more joint before I go. But I'm not smoking all of it. I have neither the time nor the courage to smoke all those joints. Anyway, that was my little fucking stoner night. And that will do for tonight. I'm going to finish watching Dune tonight. I've only got 2 hours and 47 minutes left of it. I think I'm brave enough to watch it tonight. Anyway, that'll do. If you're enjoying the podcast, give it a share around with your friends. And I'll see ya the fuck later.